Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's jump right to it. Our first question. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Ashish Tetali, and I'm a co-founder at Artus and collegestartups.in. At Artus, we basically work with startups and small and medium firms that are trying to, get into technology space. So we try and help them with technology as a service. We do development on their behalf if they need resources and guide them in the technology journey. Collegestartups.in is an initiative that I've kind of brought together to really give an alternate path to students in India, specifically, is where we're focusing right now. An alternate path. Most of the people are used to the traditional path of, after education, finding a job in a multinational company. And with COVID, those jobs are disappearing pretty fast. So we wanted to give an alternate path and make it safe for people to explore startups and the world of entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's fantastic. I really like that. Question number
Thank you.
2. What's the best thing about working with a team?
For me, the way I look at it is everything that we do is working in a team, right? Even a solo activity that you do, I always look at it as whether it's synchronous or asynchronous, right? Synchronous is where you're interacting in real time, and that's what traditionally people would think of as working in a group. And asynchronous is where you have an individual activity where you do for a little while on your own, and then you still have to interact with others. For me, what I like about working with teams is the diversity of thought, right? And the infusion of energy. These things, when you're alone, sometimes it's very difficult to think, put yourself in other people's shoes or think of it in multiple point of views. But in a team, it becomes very natural and very easy to do it.
I like that phrase, that infusion of energy that a team brings, that diversity of thought, that infusion of energy. I like that a lot. Question number 3, I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts.
For me, I look at it as it's only a challenge, right? When you feel that the team members are not connecting. So traditionally, the way decision making happens is that there's a small group of people on the top that make all the decisions, and then they pass the message down to the team and team members and say that, listen, now you have to feel that, you own this and you got to drive it. And those scenarios, a lot of times people have a hard time connecting because they're not part of the decision making process. For me, I feel that when you co-create whatever is the mission with the team, you make them involved in. I understand that it may not be everything that they can be involved in, but you try and involve the team members as much as possible. In such scenarios, the chances of people feeling connected and having that ownership stake is far greater. And when that happens, you feel that the teams are a lot more connected. When they're connected, they're more excited and they really take pride in what they're doing. And you don't really have this misalignment that most people complain about. And a perfect analogy is for people who are into movies, right? The last scene in Finding Nemo, right? When the fish are caught in the net, each person is swimming, each fish is swimming as hard as they can, but they're going in all different directions. And when Nemo reminds them that they all need to focus their energy on one direction, they're able to overcome the fish net and free themselves. So that's how I see leadership as that. And the team management is that you need to get everybody aligned together so that you can achieve the goal that's set for you and your organization.
I love you sharing that analogy from Finding Nemo. That's such a great visual of
Yeah.
alignment, getting everybody swimming in the right direction. I think that's fantastic. Question number 4, what other advice would you have for leaders of teams?
So for me, I feel that for you to run a successful team, you have to have 3 elements, right? The first element is of support structure, right? That's where you let your team members do on their own, discover what they're capable of, and you give them continuous feedback so that you are there as a father helping their child run how to ride a bicycle. You're behind them if they need support, but you let them go through the experience of it. If they fall, that's part and parcel of learning. You're there to apply the band-aid and help them get on their feet. The second element is the coaching piece of it. The coaching piece is where each team member uses their experience and expertise to help another person, right? And that's one of the greatest aspects of team, is that you can live 10,000 lives with, how your team members have, and you take those experiences and expertise and apply to that. And finally, the piece that most people don't give much importance to, but it's really critical, is the connecting piece, right? A connector piece. What I mean by that is that you have to give exposure to your team members to be able to connect outside your team as well, right? So that they're making the right connections that will help them not only do their task at hand, but also help them grow in their career. And that third piece is a lot of times not done. People get frustrated and leave good teams, right? And leaders wonder, hey, everything was going well. Why did this person leave? Or why am I losing people? That's because you're not helping them grow to the next level. So the connector piece is equally important in making sure that the teams are run successfully, and it's a philosophy rather than just a one-time effort.
Great comment. Great comments. Question number 5. What other successful team leaders, such as yourself, would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
I've been fortunate to have a lot of great mentors, but one mentor in specific is a gentleman called Arvind Jangi. He is recently retired. He was an executive vice president at MasterCard, so I had the good fortune of being mentored by him. One thing I've learned from him is the empathy piece of it, right? I was always a driver in getting results done, but when I started mentoring under him, I've seen that being ex-CIO of Citi Financial, the way he addresses each and every individual and tries to learn their story. Everybody has a story, and when you learn their story, the amazing connection that you make is just at a phenomenal level. And that's something that he's helped me and made a huge difference in my leadership style and my ability to get work done within teams. So I'd like to acknowledge his contributions in my success.
That's a great recommendation and a great recognition, I should say, of someone who's had a great influence. So thank you for recognizing him.
Yeah.
Sixth and final question. Tell us about your first job.
So my first job is I was born in India, but I grew up most of my time in Botswana. It's a small country on top of South Africa. So my first job was teaching English to immigrants in Botswana who had a difficult time speaking in English. So I started off buying books from kindergarteners and teaching them from alphabets to small words. And these are people who used to, they're hands-on workers who would create buses, who would build buses, cars, who would fix, your panel beating or, your workmen, right? And it was really a fulfilling experience because communication is such an important human skill, and the delight you get when somebody is able to communicate their thoughts and express their feelings really is a very satisfying experience.
Boy, I can only imagine. I'm sure that was satisfying. Well, yeah. Ash, thank you so much for being on the podcast. How can people find you?
Yeah, I would suggest LinkedIn is one of the best ways. You can look at me, at Ashish Tetali, and or you can also reach me at ash@collegestartups.in. So I'm more than happy to help in whatever way I can to your audience, and ask them, feel free to DM me or ping me, and whatever I can do, little as it may be, I'm more than happy to engage in that.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. And this is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can find us on LinkedIn by searching Blue Sky Business Consulting. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.
Thank you.